Hi. Well, yep, the time has come for yet another video on global warming, anthropogenic climate change, or whatever it is the kids are calling it these days. I had a couple conversations a few months back on this subject with people that I respect, smart people, reasonable people. I like to hang out with reasonable people. And just once again, it kind of reminded me why this topic is interesting, but also why I hate it. Because it really does seem to go nowhere. I'm pretty sure everybody's probably had this experience. So if you have, uh, this little series of very low-key videos, probably largely unedited, is for you. It's maybe a way to think about how to start thinking about this subject from kind of where you are. Anyhow, so yeah, I really came away from these conversations asking myself, is there really not some lowest common denominator that we can boil this down to and then kind of work our way back out from? I don't know. I'm not honestly sure there is, but there might be. So if there is, it seems like it would be CO2. CO2 is everybody's whipping boy. So we're always talked or told is, causing the global warming itself, causing the climate change itself. And it seems like it's a little bit more comprehensible than just maybe how the weather patterns, how the ice is melting, average temperatures. Like what good is an average temperature on a globe like ours, or in an environment with such variation? So I had these conversations, and I also came across the creator of Dilbert's Periscope channel on Twitter, and he did a really interesting thing, I thought, and maybe a really thoughtful thing, which was to decide to start picking off topics that are in the public sphere that people argue about, where supposedly the data is is out there. We're constantly getting called to have really strong opinions about, convince other people about, and also make political decisions, make personal decisions and personal choices, even how we spend our money and who we hang out with on this subject, and or based on the data that's out there. Well, can you really do it? I mean, can you just go to YouTube? Can you really just go to the New York Times? Can you really just go to Google and just type in climate change or global warming or even CO2 and just come away after an hour of research as a non-scientist with an understanding that you would feel comfortable again making political decisions, making personal choices on? You might find no. Initially you will think so, which is probably what happened to all of us. But when it comes right down to it, what you'll probably find is that if you pick five videos to watch on YouTube and pick 5 articles to read, initially you'll get some data. Get some data points, some parts per million, some graphs, some temperature numbers and whatnot, which are interesting and theoretically informative. But after a couple videos or articles, you'll start to realize that you're not really getting any new data. What you're getting is the same narrative over and over and over and over again, by a different voice and maybe ordered a little differently. So it either lulls you to sleep, or it's confusing, and it's really kind of hard to wrap your mind around, wrap your head around. So if you had this experience, then what I think we need to do, or at least what I think would be a valuable experiment, is to pick up a chunk, like say CO2 and infrared radiation, and try to figure out how exactly the CO2 and the infrared radiation interact in the atmosphere with the other parts and pieces of the atmosphere to either heat up or not heat up, definitely not cool down, say, the environment, and just to see if we can come away with a better understanding of that we could potentially use with somebody who disagrees on the subject currently with us, to come to maybe a better consensus, a better understanding, or at least push this conversation forward.